So the way this book kind of came about was um, we were watching movies with our kids so I realized that our kids had never seen a lot of like the classic 80s movies that my husband and I grew up with. So we did this like a couple years ago. We did this like summer of watching all these movies. And I realized that a lot of them were these 80s vacation comedies, Summer Rental, Great Outdoors, yes, National Lampoon's Vacation. Um, which, side note, I realized I had only ever seen the TV version of National Lampoon's Vacation. And I was with my kids and did not realize it was rated R. I was with my kids and I was like, oh, they had seen Christmas Vacation. So we're like, oh, this is like the first one of the series. And so they're all excited. We sit down within, 15 minutes, like Beverly D'Angelo's half naked. We're like, oh no, kids, put the pillows up over your head. I did not realize, or maybe I had forgotten that there were that many scenes, sex scenes in the movie. So it was a little surprising for me. So maybe don't watch it with children. Um, anyway, so we were watching all of these 80s vacation comedies and I was like, we really need, I would really love if there was another book or movie that came out that had this vibe. And then, of course, I was like, okay, well, maybe I could do that. Um, and writing horror too, I was like, all right, well, what can we throw at this family? And since my one of my other favorite movies is Poltergeist, I kind of, it's about the family dealing with the ghost and threats to the kids. So I kind of merged those two together to create this. And I took a ton of inspiration from National Lampoon's Vacation. I mean, it's on the back of the book. Like we're not we're not pretending. There's a cousin Eddie character, was a brother-in-law. There's the station wagon with the turtle top. I wanted to take I wanted it to be a book that anyone could read, even if like we hadn't seen the movie. But I threw in a lot of Easter eggs in there because I wanted people who love the movie as much as I do to kind of see it and be like, yeah, have that nostalgic feeling. And it was so much fun to write to bring all that in. So the Somerset family, so it's Nick, Lee, and their three kids. They leave from suburban Milwaukee and they're driving down to Orlando, Florida, to this theme park called Magicland. Um, it's not Disney, but it's Disney-esque, or Wally World. So they're taking this road trip, and the husband is he kind of thinks of himself as a Clark Griswold type character. He's a middle school principal and wants the kids to have good old fashioned family fun. To which the kids and everyone is like, yeah, I don't really want to do this. Like, there's no Wi-Fi. This is really boring. Why can't we just why can't we just fly? But they go along with it and they make it as far as Indiana and they have car trouble and they kind of pull off into a rural country road and they see a little boy run across the road. And so they slam on the brakes and stop and they get out of the car and they're looking around and they think they hear him calling for help and they're like, oh my gosh, did we actually hit this kid? What's going on? So they follow the voice and they come upon this half burned, half, deteriorating old farmhouse. And there's no sign of the boy anywhere, but the place definitely gives them the creeps. And as they go to leave, the son, Leo, finds a locket in the dirt. And of course, the parents are like, do not touch that, for many different reasons. And he, of course, takes it and doesn't tell his family. And then soon after that, all kinds of creepy things start to happen to them as they attempt to travel down to Florida. Basically, by the time they get to Magic Land, again, which is like kind of a stand-in for Disney. Well, and so the whole Disney thing is something that like I am not super into. Like it's become this like machine for parents where you hire a Disney planner, you have to go on at midnight to get reservations for breakfast that are 6 months away. It's like a whole cottage industry. And that's not for me. So I wanted to take all of those ridiculous pieces and kind of put that into Magicland. Um, and so by the they've gone through so much. By the time they actually get to Magicland, they're like half over it already. But they have to summon the parents have to summon the enthusiasm to be like, all right, this is the point of the entire trip. We're finally here. And of course, it's raining, and then the Magicland characters start acting very strange. And a lot of spooky things start happening in the park. So they're like, okay, do we stick this out and do we stay here at Magicland and pretend like we're having fun? We're definitely not, or do we try to figure out for real what's going on and why we're basically being haunted? So it's kind of where everything kind of comes to head, and I've tortured the family a lot to this point to where they finally almost have to surrender to whatever is happening to them, paranormal wise.